This is the Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again is my partner in crime, Kenny Boucher. What's up, Doc?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Where's everybody at tonight?
I mean, it's been a kind of a wild couple of weeks, right? You had it back out last week. We brought the legendary Mike Haspel, author of Graveyard Shift, and two Black Library novels back in. Then Wyatt got sick, and then Haspel's in Egypt or something. I don't know. And so
Oh, is he? Maybe.
I have enough information or a lack of information to make that assumption with
He
a,
could be researching the
with a
Stargate.
certain degree of accuracy that I may or may not have done any research on.
That sounds like clickbait,
Remember
bro.
that one time I alleged that you died in a car accident?
Uh, is that why we have the Rob Baer Memorial News Desk?
Yep. No, that was from when you sprayed acid into your eyes.
It wasn't acid.
Might as well be.
My eyes have taken a beating over the year. They don't see as good as they used to, that's
Yeah,
for
I don't
sure.
see so good.
Yeah, I don't have the young people eyes no more. It's been a rough one, but I recently learned though, did you know that there's different thicknesses of skin?
I mean, I assumed as much that not everything's exactly the same.
Yeah, apparently the thicker your skin, the younger looking you stay.
Fat people, yeah.
Oh, that's a whole nother thing, like the whole like collagen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Who knew?
So we got new Blood Angels models dropped again, defying Wyatt Turk's expectations. He said that Blood Angels are lucky to get this. Don't expect anything else. Then we got
Mm.
Sanguinary Guard and the Sanguiner. We're going to talk about these horrible models and why, and we're going to try to like engineer a sternly worded letter together as a community to GW and why they're trying to ruin our hobby, which is garbage. We'll talk about
It,
that after the break.
they can't count their money fast enough.
Um, we've got news, uh, got BolterCon discussion, and also I want to say this right at the beginning. Guys, if you're not aware, if you're listening to this podcast and you're at work, I want you to swing by a McDonald's.
Oh,
And I
jeez.
want you to get me one of those new collectible cups. And it has to be Hello Kitty. I need 3 of them motherfuckers. All right? Anybody who's listening to this podcast, hit me up on Facebook if you got the goods and we can wheel and deal. You know what I'm saying? Hello Kitty,
What do
McDonald's
you
cup.
what do you what are you offering, man? What you got?
I'm not going to make it a public offer because every deal is going to be its own deal.
Every deal is a little different, huh?
Yeah. You know how it is. I'm a hustler, dude. You know?
Huh. All right, all right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. So without Wyatt here, we have no would you rather. So
Yeah.
sorry. But hey, you know what? Some people say it's the worst part of the podcast. So let's do some news.
Let's do some news. All right, let's news it. We went from a drought of news on the 40K front to two previews in the next 2 weeks. There will be one what was it the 20 I think it's the 28th. Yeah, that Wednesday. It's on the schedule at Nova Open for a GW preview the 28th. Um at Nova Open, which is roughly 2 weeks away, and then also one this weekend, the whole like Hive Storm Operation Hive Storm. It looks like there's some Vespids in the clouds, and we've been hearing rumors of Scions with jump packs or Elysian Drop Troopers with jump packs. My guess is we'll see a new edition of Kill Team because they seem to reboot it about every 2 years or so. Um, Another starter for that, perhaps. But either way, it'll be fun to see the models that are revealed. And talk about some of the new game mechanics and things like that. But I'm sure we're going to see a lot more at Nova Open. So new products wise on the horizon, Monument Hobbies is coming out with a color called Pro Acro color called Nova Orange, which will obviously be available first at Nova Open here in 2 weeks, and then also
Bro,
a
I've been asking Jason for a better orange. For like, that's the one color I've always said is a little weak from the base set when they came
Huh.
out all those years ago. I was like,
Mm.
it doesn't have the same ass that a lot of your paints have. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He finally makes a new orange, and it is a Nova orange. Man, come on, dude.
What's wrong with that?
We all know it's Kenny orange.
It's Kenny Orange. No, you told him you were gonna to make a like a off black, like the old secret weapon one.
Look, I said he said what he came to me first with a signature series. He was like, "Yo, I
Yeah.
want you to do one." I was like, "Man, you already make all the colors. Stupid." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "The signature series is just not. It's just people who like have like two favorite GW colors, one Reaper orange. You remember like we used to use Harvest Brown and
Oh man, I
or
love Harvest.
we
What do you
had.
use now for Harvest
I just
Brown?
used all GW colors, man. Who fucking? I mean, all Monument Hobbies colors. I don't give a fuck. I left all that shit in the trash, dude.
Which monument do you use?
For what?
The
For
Reaper, the
for
Harvest.
for Harvest Brown?
Yeah.
He's got like 20 browns, dude. Just pick one. It looks kind of close.
What? I haven't found one that looks the same.
Like, bro, it's just brown, man. Like he's got mahogany,
It's a
burnt umber.
specific brown. There's an
He's,
orange brown. I mean, look at those Titans. Those Titans are like that orange brown.
yeah, so he's got burnt orange and he's got mahogany. Put them together, dude. It's not rocket science.
I guess you could.
Yes. Like you. So he's got this base set of paints. He's got a color in it called bright yellow and a color in it called green. Then in the second expansion, there's a color called bright yellow green. What the fuck you think's in that paint?
Well, no, he literally told us that. He's like, yeah, I just keep putting the words together.
It's, but no, like when he came to me, I was like, fine. I want 5 different grays.
You're like the Sterling Archer of a signature series.
I was like, I want 5 grays so close together, progressively going brighter that they're almost impossible to tell which one's brighter. He's like, man, fuck you.
Wow. Speaking of pro acrylic, he came out with a mega paint set. Did you see that? Like a mega set?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I haven't talked to him since the attempted homeless assault on his compound. Maybe I need to talk to him more.
Yes, right. It was sieged.
Yeah, The Siege. You might think it's a movie with Bruce Willis, but it's actually about Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking for this. The base set? What is this orange here? It's just orange.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll look.
it's sick, but it doesn't it's doesn't apply as good. It's just like
Oh yeah, I haven't tried it.
it's the one thing that could use a little more ass. So
I'll
I,
say.
I use it all the time. It doesn't stop me from using it. It's just minor critique.
Well, you're also basically an expert. You could probably paint with like kitchen condiments.
Oh, for sure.
Burnt orange, huh? All right, I'll check it out. Anyways, so yep, so we got that, and then he's also coming out with another texture trainer. It's a salamander coin, which looks pretty neat too, and those will both be on sale first at Nova Open. I did want to mention the Pariah Nexus terrain set. Obviously, it's not like official GW or anything like that from Tabletop Terrain. It's 3D printed, and you can use it to make all 8 layouts for Pariah Nexus. So if you're like, what the heck do I do? I got these cards, I got these layouts, I got all the things, and it's all a specific way. You can get this set. It's only like 200 some dollars, which for a complete table of terrain is a great deal. It's really high quality. He put it together, and I think it's a great buy. So check that out over on Tabletop Terrain. There's we'll put out an article on the site here shortly about it. But it's a great way to pick up, something that you're going to be able to use for probably at least a year, and if not longer, depending on how they change it next season or next year's season, I guess. Because we still got two years of 10th edition 40K in theory left. Another cool product that came across my desk was the diseased plushie dice bag from Baron of Dice. It basically took the idea of the Nurgle plushie. It took and made it a little bit smaller, but put 3 of them together with a dice bag. And it looks really cool. I just want to buy one just to have it, and I don't even play Nurgle. Uh, so that's actually you can pick that up right now from Baer and the Dice. Just a really cool little product, and judging by the success of these plushies and the fact that GW keeps coming out with them, I think this one's going to do pretty well. We talked about the previews coming out for Games Workshop, and I guess it's worth mentioning too that Team USA got 5th overall at the WTC's event over the weekend. So congrats to them. Out of 40 teams worldwide that competed in that. It's basically our version of the 40K Olympics that happens every year. I think, is that accurate? I guess it's sort of accurate. I don't know.
Uses the like the FIFA system,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
like for team management and stuff. Congrats to
Yeah.
the team.
Absolutely. That's no small accomplishment whatsoever. I got a kick out of watching the Olympics, and one of the things that they always said to people, like, they're like, well, what are you gonna do now after winning the gold medal? Like, if I don't know if I was on the other side of that microphone, I'd be like, I just won a gold medal at the Olympics. Like, what the fuck else is there to do?
That's why they're asking him the question. They're saying
That isn't the question.
they're
It's
looking
like,
into the windows of that man's soul. They're saying,
I did it.
now that you have peaked, like what now?
It's like, what do you do now? Like,
What do you mean what now? It's like, well, this is it. It's downhill from here. What are you thinking about that? Like, tell me your thoughts. I try to think about that.
I don't know if it's downhill, but it's like, redefine your parameters. Like, whatever.
Like, I'm gonna try to parlay this into a fucking career. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Fuck.
That's the dream right there.
Anybody looking for Olympic caliber pole vaulter? Like, give me some
Yo,
money.
I could spin. Nah, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Just a weird, wild thing to ask people. So that's basically it. I guess there was some updates to the Tacoma Open updates for 40K movement became official last week or two. I don't know. I'm off a week or two on my times. And
Yeah,
Death Watch.
they interacted with pivot values, kind of as we said. Like, these pivot values are set in stone, guys. So, see, balance update. Got to patch the game.
If you don't like 40K's rules right now, just wait 3 months or 2 weeks after this. They'll change again.
Yeah. What
Hopefully
about
for the better.
so BolterCon? Do you have the information for that?
I think I still have it open.
Because I informally talked about it last week.
Oh, it is Cincinnati's dopest gaming convention. I already like it. November 14th to 17th. If I had to guess, that's probably Veterans Day weekend.
Yes, that's how it started. It started as a veterans charity event.
Yep. Okay, cool. I like it already. Still liking it. There's a 40K GT, 22 spots remaining for that. There's also Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament with even less spots left, and an Old World Doubles Tournament, which I think they ruled that you can't play opposing factions like Forces of Evil.
Exactly.
So no chaos in orcs or
It
no
needs to be somewhat thematic.
yeah. So none of that. Vulture Bowl, Horus Heresy, and something called Only Paints.
So we talked about this thing last week. Wyatt bought tickets during the podcast. Matt OTPHGZ bought tickets. Arthur, the financial guru, CFO, he's going to the old world doubles. So like half the crew's already gone. So
I guess I'll have to go.
as I mentioned, I met these guys when they flew me out for an IRL painting class. I even went to the venue, like the location that this is going to be held. It's all great. Super fucking amazing game club. Shit's super pro. I think I'm going to have to go now. So now we just have to figure out how to get Rob there, which I think you could just drive to Cincinnati, right?
Yes, Cincinnati is well within my
Your
normal acceptable
your range.
my it's well inside my range
Yep.
for now.
For now.
Although my range is extending with Adepticon.
Oh God, Milwaukee fucked you.
Milwaukee, I hope that stays figurative.
That's that's rough. Remember, you know how like every year for like the last, I don't know, what's the first Adepticon I went to? 2011?
No,
2007.
before that, like
2007.
'07.
I have the trophy. 2007.
Yeah.
So since 2007 till now, what have I told you every time we are in the parking lot, packing your dumb car up to drive home
I don't know,
at 10,
something whimsical, I'm
10
sure.
o'clock at night? You're gonna fucking leave at 4 in the morning. This is the coldest
Oh,
I've ever been, Rob.
oh yeah, every time. You're like, this is the coolest I've ever been.
I'm like sitting there in the parking lot
I was like,
because
just carry my shit.
it's always super far away because like parking's a nightmare.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep.
this is the coldest I've ever been, Rob. Like I'm literally gonna die.
Oh no,
Every
me
year
too.
redefines the new coldest I've ever been. Now they're going to Milwaukee, son. We might
In March.
actually die. This might be it for us.
Yeah, it's right on the lake, dude.
This might be it for us. Yeah. Fucking Arthur told me, who is from Ohio. He's like, lives on the lake. He's like, it's a completely different situation, Kenny. It's
Yeah.
bad. It's bad. I was like, worse than Chicago? He's like, so much worse.
Oh
Like,
yeah, because Chicago, you're a good hour and a half, 2 hours from the lake. This is on the lake. Like, depending on how high you're up, you can see it.
bro, I don't know if I'm ready for this, man. I'm not leaving that room. Like, that's it. Like, we're not fucking going anywhere.
Yo, winter's coming, dog.
Mm.
Have you been watching House of the Dragon?
I've watched one episode.
What, the first one of the first season?
Maybe like the third one of the newest season.
Oh man, that's the wrong way to do it.
That's how I do everything, man. Remember,
Oh.
I'm the guy who will no longer drink out of a, or you're the guy who will no longer drink out of receptacles, and I'm the guy who can't shit toilets. That's how I approach life.
Uh,
So, I guess we don't have. We usually have more hot takes and sliced into the news.
they're
Uh,
just, I mean, even with the previews and stuff. I mean, there was what Sigmar previews over the weekend. We could
mhm.
talk about like the new Skaven and such. They look great.
I mean, and the weird thing is, we're going to talk about Blood Angels after the commercial breaks, but like, we talked, we definitely talked a lot of shit about the new Coaties. It's like, like GW, they're batting like 9,999. You know what I mean? Like, they miss every now and then. So like things like I expect most things to be just like straight top tier, and most of them are like they're new shit.
Yeah.
And so I love Skaven. I think the whole line has always been tight, regardless of what era we're in. You know. Oh, and Zenwu, I actually never did go see Deadpool Wolverine last weekend.
Oh yeah,
What
I want to see it too.
what did I get caught up doing? Oh yeah, you saw my reel? That's what I was doing.
Probably something whimsical if I had to guess.
It was awesome. But trying to think, I celebrated my 8-year stream anniversary this month
Mm-hmm.
on as a Twitch partner on the platform. I'm kind of just doing little giveaways all month. Shout out to the audience. We've been on Twitch fucking 8 years, man. That almost like better part of a decade. And
It's wild.
this is my 14th year. October's my 14th year at Next Level Painting. And you're like what, a year ahead of me on that stuff. So you're already
Yeah.
you're going into your
Oh,
15th year. This next
no,
level,
just hit it. So going into 16.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like fucking. It's crazy to think about that shit, right? It's just
I mean, it's so much. How many editions? Fifth?
third.
Fifth till now?
Wow, to business wise, yeah, fifth. Fifth started a lot of it. Yeah, fifth start because fifth is when it really should have popped off. Remember? That's when. I mean, like I know it was close to fourth, but I definitely think fifth is really when we started. You probably started in fourth.
I mean, I started playing it
Of
first,
course,
but
I'm talking about business wise. Like
maybe I don't
start
know.
starting up the blog, everything like that.
I think I think some of the models I used in the one of the first articles was like the Black Reach orcs.
That orc box, that orc army you converted, that was a Imperial Guard army. That was a Leaf Blower fifth edition Guard army.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
Yeah. And then I had the non-bikers.
that was fifth edition.
Yeah, those all fifth
Co-
edition.
Complex wound allocation. Yeah,
Oh,
man. So
man.
like, really, yeah, fifth kind of kicked it all off for us.
Yep.
It's just
Now we're
wild.
now we're 5 editions later and 5 editions and 15 years later.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Sheesh. It is.
Beyond belief. Yep. Took all those Black Reach orcs, got all those Death Copters out, kit bashed them into fucking bikers. Remember that?
Yep.
Shit was this.
Now you just find a cool print or you can size up something.
Oh, thank God. Like, fuck.
Dude, it's so wild that if GW goes out of stock on anything, there's a perfectly good alternative to substitute in to buy and
I
use
used to
until
scour alternate like model companies for like
yep,
stand-ins, and now it's just like, print that shit.
yep.
Yep. Fuck, man. I'm excited because I'm gonna go to the GW Tampa Open in October. So that's what I'm currently what I've just been. I just finished Kragnos stream project for High Ground Games. So it's sponsored
Mm,
content. High Ground Games on YouTube. Shout out to these guys. Uh, and so rather than start my next stream project, I just kind of started for my 8-year anniversary. Started painting up on my chaos stuff for my project because I have to get it done by October. So I've been painting some Possessed, my second squad. So that's been fun. There's like I always tell people, man, you want to just do some painting this month, and you want to just know the values right, buy a box of Possessed. Like you're about to be into it for like 80 hours, dog, for like a $50 purchase.
mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, it's about that's all I'm into. So let's just do a commercial break, and then let's talk about how trash Blood Angels are. And we're back.
Mm.
Rob, how about those awful Sanguinary Guard with no wings?
Oh, the little worst. Where are their wings?
I feel like
I'm laughing.
I kind of feel like GW is just trying to like ruin my childhood, dude. I mean, they're like,
Were you triggered?
yeah, like
So true.
these plastic models that I have basically that I straight up don't own. Like I don't own them. They're just pictures. Are ruining my life, dude.
Ah, I'd say you could say that about a lot of things on the internet lately, especially this year.
They're straight ruining my life, dude.
Just both figuratively and literally.
Literally, literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
You're
So
right.
so we were already impressed enough, guys. Astaroth, Martis dropped, and we compared those to the Inquisitor Cote's Dumpy Pants. And one of the things we talked about is like, you have a good old pose that people love. It's iconic. GW, it's all you have to do is do that pose again in a baller new plastic model. And so they fucked that up on Coates. They definitely went uh they got too cute, like with their aesthetics, with the eagle not being on his arm, everything, right? So that was a little bit of a swing and a miss for them, but then Lamartis and Astaroth looking fucking sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And Wyatt said, "That's it,
Not getting no more.
that's it." And then we got Sanguinary and Sanguinary Guard, and the internet is not happy.
Nope.
And what aren't they happy about, Rob?
I don't know. Various things, design, aesthetics, the wings, the lack of wings, Sanguinor's face, Sanguinary Guard's face, no flying stands, some flying stands, packs of three, not
Yep.
packs of three.
Yeah. So wings is definitely the number one thing I'm hearing people are upset about.
Yeah, wings,
Wings.
yeah,
And
a
so
lot.
I'm gonna establish my credentials right now.
Ooh.
I've painted more Blood Angels than any human on planet Earth. Like we talked about fifth is when we started. So the fifth edition Blood Angel Codex was the most popular codex of all time, practically. And just to put it in perspective, this is just 3 clients, 3 separate clients, big Blood Angel orders, all with over 100 infantry models and 20 tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up, that's just 3 of the Blood Angel armies I did. I painted every model in the Blood Angel line 10 times, at least.
How many you painted? How many Storm Ravens?
The world record, man. I don't know, 100, like
At least, and Rhinos, I'm
like
sure.
rhinos, 1,000. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy, dude. Fucking so, I'll tell you. Uh, yeah, I painted like 11 Storm Ravens in the first fucking 30 days that model existed. Like, Zedwood chat said a dozen in the
Significant.
first, like literally, like it was 11, like in the
Mm-hmm.
first 30 days. Like I'd already painted 11 Storm Ravens. Is that crazy? Like, is fucking nuts. And so I'll tell you something, man. Blood Angel models are awesome, especially when they first dropped. In fifth, Sacred Guard was the hype shit back in fifth.
Yep.
And let me tell you something, man. Those models suck, dude. Like, they're like those wings don't make sense. They don't glue on right.
They would fall off a lot
I
because they just had like a little notch for the
that
contact.
it's not fitted. It's pre
Yeah.
3D analyzed fitted shit, you know. So I've recently done a bunch of Sacred Guard for my ninth edition Blood Angels, and
Mm-hmm.
my solution, and I'm actually walking through one of my students through a commission on one of those. I was like, there's a very specific way to do the wings that I developed way back in the day, right? And you have to separate the backpack from the model. First off, you have to paint them both separate because you want to get
Okay.
your airbrush on those wings, if possible. The meaning you're gonna have to hand paint the backpack, or vice versa, but you really want to not have to hand paint the wings. So the way you need to do it is you need to get all the Sanguinary Guard built. This is how this is old model. This is the jankery. Get them all built on their bases, looking good. No backpacks. Then with blue tack, you put all the backpacks on, and then from there you kind of tack weld their wings on because their arms are so ridiculous that you don't realize that the wings aren't actually going to go in the way the box tells you based on which fucking arm you use and how the guy's arm is raised. They just won't fit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to blue tack them all on and kind of move around, and they're going to make weird contact. You got to take your super glue and you got to take your accelerator. You got to tack weld all the fucking wings on. Then
Yep.
you take the wings off, you take the backpack off, and then you spend the next 2 days putting plastic glue on that fucking joint there and turning it into just a solid weld. Like
Or else.
like you weld it, go eat lunch, forget about the project. When it's fully dry again, do it again, make a little sprue glue, and you want and then only then can you now put these backpacks, mount them on like some double stick tape, and go nuts airbrushing them, then putting it back together. The most obnoxious model ever, biggest slowdown in history, fucking, and ultimately supremely derpy. Like they got like what the hell is those wings doing? Like Blood Angels are aesthetic Greek gods obsessed with beauty, not little like dollar store fucking Cupid wings for Halloween.
Yep.
So I'm not impressed with the old Sacred Guard models. Like by modern standards, they suck. They have nonsense detail for detail's sake. Like little tassels with gems hanging off them, just nonsense. Detail for detail's sake, because that's a word we used to use, Rob. Remember, on certain models.
Oh yeah, Space Wolves, Blood Angels. They just made them busy, and they've kind of gone the opposite way
Yes,
lately.
they were detailed for no reason other than to
Mm-hmm.
put detail on. So it is a jarring lack of detail to see the new Sanguinary Guard. They don't have any of that bullshit. They don't have 52 purity seals and 19 gems. They are Greek statues. Adonis, jacked, right? Same armor aesthetic, just bulky and jacked. And they've got their Blood Angel sprue items. They've got their wings on the shoulder pads, everything. And I think the classiest thing they ever did was on the flappies on the back of the thruster, embed the wing motif. Because from the back, if you watch the video trailer, it has the exact illusion of wings. Like, I was like, that is the classy way to do it. You artifice it into the actual wing of the backpack. That fucking part existed already on that fucking Gravis fucking jump pack. They didn't add it. Blood Angels don't. It's not like Blood Angels put it on theirs and no one else has it. That's part of the fucking mechanics of it, right? So on the actual wing function of their thruster, they put the wings. Genius. So classy. I love that. Now, I don't understand why that would disappoint anyone who's had to paint 1,000 Sanguinary Guard in the past. When I see these new Sanguinary Guard, I'm like, God, thank you, Jesus.
Well, I think a lot of people too, like that are commenting on this stuff, never played Blood Angels, have no intentions to play Blood Angels. They're just like, yo, I got an opinion, internet.
And they're
Let me
also,
tell you.
the image of a Sanguinary Guard in their head is the GW box art, which is super suspicious. Trust me. I've stared at boxes of Sanguinary Guard and fucking painted them for years. They're not even all painted the same. Like, if you look at the Sanguinary Guard box, you see the squad image on the front, then you flip it around to the back, there's this guy with a power fist that's NMM. That's just like, what? It's like not even the same guy painted it. It's like, so the expectation they're creating to make that squad look like it has good contrast is unachievable by a fucking standard painter. And painting them gold never looks good. They don't have the fucking ass to support gold. And they have too many doodads and fake detail to support proper dry brushing habits. Like, so they never look good. The new ones are like made to be sprayed gold, washed and dry brushed elegantly, and will look good. The old ones never did. That's why I refuse to paint them gold. That's why I switched up the motif for my last Blood Angel project. After painting 1,000 of them gold. Like, never been happy with them.
Well, we're going to see a whole nother generation of them now.
Oh, Kara Quinn said something good. That's a good thing. A good comment. He said, "Never wash gold." This is so that's great. That can we can actually use that as like an advice segment here too, because we are looking for content. Thank you, Kara Quinn, and I will circle back to that point in a minute. But I love the new Sanguinary Guard. I like how jacked they are, how strong they are, how easy they are to paint. GW knows how to make models with paintability in mind now in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about Sanguinary. You said somebody mentioned they don't like his face.
Yeah, people have said that, like that comparing them to different characters, even
Macho Man.
Macho Man.
So I did notice because GW likes to take pictures of that hero angle, bottom up view where you're looking up at him, and so Sanguinary's chin doesn't look right. It looks messed up, it's bad. I don't know why they took that picture, but if you look at him from top down, you see he's just got like a Spartacus chin. He's just like a chiseled Spartacus looking motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Well, it could be because the miniature's 3D printed, the prototype.
So
and the support broke there or something.
So it's the first thing I noticed. The chin didn't make sense. But from the other angles, you can see it's just like a butt chin, a cleft chin. You know, like so. That I do agree that it's a little weird looking in the hero angle. But I went back and reviewed the video and saw that the chin seemed to hold up. But it is probably a 3D print, like you said.
Yep.
The hero pose was an awful angle. It was a bad choice, Meticulous Chaos. Exactly. That's what they did on Inquisitor and Dumpy, too. So maybe he's not as bad. That's the thing. It's a bad angle, but whatever. But I agree. But Sanguiner is a hit, though. He's super simple, super clean. The same old Sanguiner, but huge and jacked. You know what I mean?
He definitely looks a lot bigger. He got a glow up.
Yeah, my man looks swole.
Very swole.
Oh,
I'm digging it.
Yeah, me too. So now let's talk about painting your Sanguinary Guard. Kara Quinn says never wash your gold. He paints Custodes, and he also likes scale 75.
Well, I don't
So
know. I wash my gold.
scale 75 paint is a super low luster metallic.
Oh man, dude, it's basically matte right out of the.
So if you what little glitter you're getting, if you wash it, it's gone. It might as well not been a metallic paint.
I
And
see.
and so definitely, but that goes into another section. Like so, something I tell a lot of people about true metallics. If you're about to get a bunch of Sanguinary Guard and you want them to live the GWs, you got to know for that GW did not wash their gold. Like they put panel lines in. They did not slap a wash over the gold, which is most people's solution to like Grey Knights and like Custodians and stuff like that. Get it all gold, hit it with the wash, hit it with the dry brush, look good. That will look good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because dark stuff dark, bright stuff bright. The problem is you start to lose a lot of that luster when you do that. And so you have to, it's almost like you're putting the luster back on at the dry brushing phase. So what GW doesn't do that. They put all their golds on, then they panel line. They just make the dark recesses dark manually.
Mm-hmm.
And so the gold is very rich and still reflecting light. Right? Still sparkling. So that's something I talk about on my show, and that's to what I think Karakuma was referring to. So if you're about to paint a bunch of these guys, know that they'll never look as good as the box art if you go for an active all over wash versus a pen wash.
Yeah. I mean, you can make gold richer looking by using a flesh wash with a little bit of purple in it, and that helps, but it won't do heavy lifting.
Thing is,
You,
you also got to remember though, if it's glitter paint reflecting light, and you put a filter between the human eye and the glitter paint, it does not
Mhm.
reflect light as much anymore. So any
No,
filter you put
100%.
over it
You're gonna have
reduces
to go back.
reduces. So now why did we wash it? If we're gonna
Right.
go back and reinstall
Well,
the glitter, that's where people get caught up. And so the real trick to metallic paints is to make sure they're opaque. And a lot of times people aren't hitting it opaque enough. People struggle applying metallic paints, as you know. So what are the number one questions you get asked, right? Like, man, I just can't make this metallic paint look good, or I can't paint with it. It's chunky, it's peeling, or whatever. You know what I mean? How many different ways have you heard it? You know, and,
yep.
and especially if you airbrush, right? As you know, when you airbrush any paint, it's never opaque.
Right.
So it takes multiple coats, multiple passes. And a lot of that comes from like your primer state. And so the real trick is whatever your favorite gold is that you picked out, whether it's a GW gold or a fucking scale 75 or an army painter, the real trick is make sure it's opaque. Make sure you've done enough coats that that you can no longer see through the golds into what came before it. And then
Yes.
that will help with any other technique you choose to use for that moment on.
Yep. I think with I airbrushed that Aries for the Custodes, and I used a lot of different golds, and I added silver in for the
Mhm.
tops, and then I went back and did umber towards the bottoms
Yep.
to make it look richer, but I didn't wash it because that's a lot.
Yeah. Never wash your tank either. Like that's
Yeah, that's just that can go a number of different ways. You can do the same effects with like,
you want to make the dark stuff dark, but don't be slapping a
yeah.
wash on that motherfucker. They
Yeah, depend. I mean, maybe like on the bolter or something. Like the storm bolter, maybe, or something like something small,
mm-hmm.
like the exhaust, but not not the whole
No,
tank.
that goes for a lot of people make that mistake. And here's like some excuse me, some ancient tech is if you're gonna paint a bunch of models gold, think about primer, right? A lot of people
Right.
use black primer, which is 99% of the time the best one. But a lot of people are really into like value painting or what they call zenithal highlighting or
Mm-hmm.
zenithal priming or whatever dumb nonsense phrase they use. Highlighting from the zenith is zenithal highlighting. Priming is what you do before you apply your actual paint coats. So
Right.
so doing a value paint or painting something in black and white progressively brighter toward the top is what a lot of people like to do these days, right? And
True.
so
because they're using the speed paints.
So what? But why does that work? It works because black stays in the recess, gray stays in the midtone, white stays in the peaks, right? So when you
Yep.
apply a color, like black covers it's got its back covered when it comes to coverage, right? Like so you don't need to get full coverage necessarily all the way to recess. It's going to show pretty decent midtone, and white's always what a CMYK palette wants to be informed by to show its true colors, right? So that's really just better priming practices, right? So when paint is innately not opaque, that just really helps. So if you apply the same methodology to metallic paint, but you instead of using black and gray and white, you just use dark silver and bright silver, right? Same thing. Silvers are just gray paint with glitter. So if you say dark silver on everything, do my zenithal highlighting with bright silvers and the brightest mithril silver in the world, right? And you do the same thing, a little dry brushing with the brightest silver. So they're all silver sanguinary guard with sick dry brushing. Then you spray your fucking gold over it. Times 10. Because now you're priming it with glitter primer. So any lack of opacity that you get from the gold rob is it's gonna be covered by the fact that the primer is glittery too. So that's I have a video like 9 years old on that. Like on doing like a Dante that way.
I remember that one. Yeah, that one's good. And if you're brush, I mean, one of the things I used to do many years ago before I even tried to airbrush was, I think the color was 10 bits, but it's basically like a like a bronze, right?
Mm-hmm. That was a good color back in the day. I remember that.
To transition, because going from black primer mini, and then trying to just put a gold on it, right? That was like a no-go. That was like multiple coats. So, but if you did like something like a bronze, like a 10 bits to get in between it.
Yeah, and so you're speaking to another concept I talk about in my painting curriculum. Respect. Like the concept, value respect. So going for something extremely dark to something extremely bright is hard. Now, what is gold paint? Well, if you took the glitter out, it's like ochre. Yeah. Right? So paint ochre raw dog over black.
Not going to happen. It's like trying to do yellow over black.
Yeah, paint yellow ochre raw dog on black. How does that go?
Not well.
It goes poorly. But paint yellow ochre over mahogany. How does that go?
Better.
Fucking it comes out sick, right? And now suddenly, hold on, what's that 10 bits color? If you were to remove the glitter, that's kind of brown, right?
Yeah, it's basically it's a metallic brown.
Bro, take the metallic part out. It's brown.
Yeah, exactly.
So all metallic paints function this way. That's something to help my students wrap their head around when they get caught up on the metallics. It's like, what's your bronze? It's brown. What's your yellow? Or what's your gold? Ochre. What's the bright gold? Oh, yellow. Right? Oh, what's this? What's the super extra bright gold? Oh, that's like pale yellow, right?
Yeah, shit with yellow or shit with white in it.
So if you did a brown to yellow workup, it'd look pretty decent, right? And then you can mix things in like a copper. Copper's kind of like orange, right? Brown, orange to yellow. That shit just works. So you apply the same thing in your buildup, respecting your way to yellow to always work. So you don't need to go with this silver pre-highlight method. You could just pick darks, and I don't even like calling it bronze. I'm like dark gold, bright gold. Like train your eyes to see everything like from a value-based respect. It always works.
Okay.
And you've been doing that for years. So it's not like,
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I changed my painting up. You know, I got various armies that are all painted different ways. But they're all different fundamentals that are pretty solid.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like so there's gonna be a rash of new tutorials on painting these guys for sure.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool to see what the community comes up with too. You know,
right? But this also leads to my final conclusion, which is if you just stated that like all these metallics you use basically have in the same line of paint you're using a non-metallic counterpoint,
right?
You can basically find them. You know, whatever paint you're using, and what's stopping you from just using those instead of the metallic paint? Why are you using the metallic paint? What's the point?
I think in a lot of cases, people were got into the hobby learning to paint a certain way, and they just want to keep doing it that way. You know, they have to kind of
Mm-hmm.
unlearn. Yeah.
No, it metallic paint is like a nice fire forget feeling, and the only other alternative to most people is like non-metal metallics, right? Like so,
Hmm.
but there's something in between the two, which is just paint it the fucking color. If you just painted the sanguinary guard, like mahogany, they started spraying yellow ochre into them, more
Hmm.
yellow ochre, a little pale yellow. Then you wash them, then you dry brush them. No metallic paint whatsoever. They look hella sick. I promise you.
Yep.
Like they look hella sick. Nobody like they and people are like, yo, that's wild. Because here's another secret of metallic paint. It almost doesn't do anything on that small of a scale.
Yeah,
Like
you would have to. It's like you said with the when your Primaris Dante going from the pink to the yellow, like your eyes don't see that.
the thing is that metallic paint is reflecting light. That means the effect. It's an effect, right? Metallic paint's an effect. So what it's doing is it's bouncing light, and therefore you can see it's artificially creating highlights and shadows easier than otherwise, right?
Hmm.
Even though we almost always still go out of our way to introduce shades and highlights, right? So
Yep.
ultimately, though, on a 32 millimeter scale on a little duder, you got to realize like light is 1-to-1, baby. Planet Earth, son, 1-to-1. It does not work on 32 millimeter models. So if you have all these perfectly curated metallic models that are 32 millimeter infantry models, the metallic paint, like the whole effect, isn't really doing anything. It's not really
Hmm.
reflecting light the way it's meant to on such a small plane, such a small piece of real estate.
Yep.
It looks great on the tanks, as you know,
Bigger stuff. Yeah.
right? But it just kind of doesn't hold up. So by relying on a product that is an effect that bounces 1-to-1 light to generate any effect of contrast, is already a losing proposition most of the time. So I always urge people to experiment with that. Get like gray, get like dark neutral gray, gray, and bright gray, and paint your bolters with that, and just kind of do the same thing you would do, right? Like paint it like the gray, throw a little wash on, hit it with a dry brush. Be like, damn, that looks hella
Hmm.
sick. You know what I mean? Try your mahoganies and ochres. Like I'm not saying do NMM. That's a different effect.
Well, yeah, and it's going to look differently depending on the size of the model, the thinness of your paints, the all that stuff. Like that you don't start with that. But I mean, we're spoiled as hobbyists, like for the amount of product out there, the amount of accessories and gear, it's staggering. Like, but you can produce so much really good looking miniatures with like very minimal spends and very minimal effort. You know, if
Mhm.
you just get in there and just get your, do the reps, do the practice, get familiar with what you have before you go and buy more stuff and try more advanced techniques.
Two questions in chat. NS Grendel again. He says, painting question, realistic or popping? Always popping, dude. Contrast is contrast. The only
Hmm.
like they say art is subjective, but it's not really that subjective. Like there is an objective rule in all art across all mediums, and that is contrast. If
Right.
if art doesn't have it, meaning perceivability, digestibility, and understandability, if art does not have contrast, it is bad art. And so by going realistic on a 32 millimeter scale that relies on 1-to-1 lighting to be viewable or have contrast, it looks like shit. You can't perceive it. The human eye needs dark recesses to perceive sharpness and bright edges to perceive definition. And
Yep.
so you need to artificially ramp it up, aka popping it, to have good looking miniatures. And
But
that
you don't have to go over the top of the whole comic book style like Kenny does. You can just do, washes,
you're
shading.
taking a sharpened filter in Photoshop and you're just dragging it to the right until you like it and you stop. I drag
Hmm.
mine all the way to the fucking right.
So
So
slide it all the way to the right.
you know what I'm saying? So that's an interesting fact is when you're sharpening an image in Photoshop, it is drawing a dark border around the pixels.
Yep.
And for some reason, our dumb human eye sees it sharper. That's
It's just
how
the way
that's
it's
how
the same.
important. The dark stuff is the dark stuff. Dark recesses being dark is the most important element side of contrast. Bright edges being bright is second to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same reason when we pick up a miniature, we look at the face, we look at the eyes, because we as humans, that's what we do. We look at people's faces, we look at people's eyes. Same thing with miniatures. So you always gotta want to make sure you have that done to a decent standard too.
And that's the problem with like an active wash. That's why it's such an important technique I teach in my second lesson. Is because most people do it bad. Most people, what they do is they'll like paint their Space Marines or whatever. They get their airbrush out, then they try to wash a model, and they just have a bucket of ruined models, right?
Ugh.
So by making wash is supposed to make the dark stuff dark, but it leaves a filter behind, right? So how good you are at that application determines on how much of that filter is sacrificing what came underneath it. So it doesn't matter if you make the dark recesses darker, but you made everything else darker too. You see? It has to be the dark stuff has to be dark in contrast to every other midtone or above. So the application of any wash strategy or technique is critical and, like I said, debatably more important than how good your highlighting is. A lot of
Mhm.
times the solution is making sure that like how dark the dark shit is super dark relative to where you're gone. A lot of people get hyper focused on endless highlighting, which and then they don't understand why the model still doesn't look sharp because that's not what
Mhm.
the human eye needs. When you think of camouflage removes the borders, so the human eye struggles to focus on it. You see,
Oh.
Kara Quinn is another question. He says, I think really well done. TMM, True Metal, looks
Hmm.
great. It pops. Just metallic and shady, no. That's still the you were just referring to. So talk about true metallic metal.
Yeah.
That
That's a challenge.
well executed TMM, like like what you do on your custodies. Is it just metallic and shading, or are there more steps? Fucking Rob, not even just
Oh,
asked.
I thought you were talking to him.
I was asking you a direct question.
Oh, so my custodies are um prime black, then I airbrush whatever the base gold army painter, I forget. Then I do the next one. Then I do the next one. Then I wash it with oh, and then I throw in some umber in there. So I do three highlights umber to bring it back down in some spots. Then I wash it. Then I edge highlight it with silver added to the brightest gold. And then pick out the reds, uh, the other details. I think that's it. I'd have to look. But yeah, so it's a lot,
Yeah,
but I think it looks really good. I mean,
no, it does. It's so the true metallic. So that the so TMM looks good with effort. That's the thing.
oh yeah,
And so
it's a lot.
so well executed true metallic effects, Caraquin, start with opaque application of the metallic paint,
Yep.
making the dark things darker. Oftentimes that ends up sacrificing some of your luster, and then you have to kind of rebuild that luster with your highlight execution, which luckily for models that are predominantly metallic means good dry brushing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
you do have that advantage. A lot of the times you get to use dry brushing strategies.
I mean, you could custodies, you might be able to dry brush, but not. I mean, I just prefer the edge highlight
Mhm.
because you could just take, you can just take this. You don't have to like literally draw on every line. You can just take the edge of the brush and like pull it across the lines that you want. And it's thin enough. If you make a mistake, you can just erase it, lick your finger and erase it, which I think is really cool. And then wait for it to dry and seal it. But that is the most tedious part of this whole process is the edge highlighting. But you have to do it because otherwise you have the darker areas, but you don't have the defined higher areas, which on Space Marine armor, it's very squared off, especially custodies.
Yeah, no, for sure. So with custodies, they are a little harder to dry brush. I will acknowledge that. So the secret to metallic paint too is, remember I was talking about respect. You got to respect your way up. Metallic paint
Hmm.
also likes to be disrespected. So you kind of want to ramp up the highlights. You kind of want to skip steps. And sometimes what the move is, Kara Quinn, is get your golds down, do your dry brushing, then wash. Like instead of wash the dry brush, right? So you can get some kind of janky, aggressive dry brushing down first, and going straight up to the brightest silver even. Then hit it with the wash, and then that usually knocks it back down. And then you can just do a couple of cleanup lines. Same thing
Couple
for
lines.
same thing for Grey Knights and things like that. GW knows what they're doing when they release entire armies that are just metallic paint. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and dry brushing is dependent upon good dry brushing habits. Right tool for the job. You want a soft round dry brush. First and foremost, that's like not the old chisel tips. Soft round, make
Those
them
are good for
style brush.
washes.
You want. I don't even use that. I don't even use the chisel tips anymore. Like they don't really. They're just too restrictive. You need a raster like radial approach to most painting, and with dry brushing, you really reap what you sow from the tool you're using. And so I recommend
Oh, yeah.
going to like Monument Hobbies. They have a 3-pack with a small, medium, and large. Buy 2 of those. Because here's the other thing: if you're about to do a bunch of dry brushing on a project,
Yup.
you have to know that when the dry brush is cached, like you're done with it, and you rinse it off, it is done until it is air dried to fucking perfectly dry. You're done with this brush for the day. So if you need to continue with that size brush, you need to have a backup. But that's the mistake a
Yep.
lot of people make is they try to really dry the brush after they're done rinsing it, and they're like, okay, now I'm going to switch colors. Nope, never going to work. It's going to be streaky now. It has to be powder dry.
And you can even one of the other things too, and this can apply to dry brushing, but definitely normal paint brushing, especially if you're going from metallics to regulars, is you probably want to have 2 different pots of water to rinse with. Like keep your metallics separate from your normals,
So
or even your lights and your darks.
typically a good fucking rule of thumb. And Kara Quinn is like, why are you calling me out? I was like, because I say someone's name and you're the last person whose comment I read.
Oh, yeah.
Impromptu hobby seminar or hobby.
Yeah, how do we even get it? Oh, we were talking about
We're
sanguinary
talking
guard.
Sangar and talking about
Yeah,
golds,
yeah,
trying to hand out useful knowledge. Somebody also in chat asked about oils. Yeah, oils are great.
yeah. They
Well,
work.
I don't like them on metallics. I won't lie. I think they're worse, but they're great on things like brighter colors that you normally struggle to wash with traditional acrylic washes. For some reason, oil is great at that because of its subtraction and reactivation steps. But if you commit to the oil lifestyle, your army looks like it was washable. Like it has a different look forever. Like it's not right for every project, but it is absolutely a solid tool.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, Kara Quinn acknowledges it. He's like, yeah, oil's dull metallic straight. Yeah, it just doesn't something about it. It doesn't do what I like on metallic paints. But
Nope. Eh.
but Army Painter has still at this moment the best wash set in the game. They're flirting with danger though. They assured me at Adepticon that their wash formula remains unchanged. That is just straight not true. It is required course curriculum in my class, Rob. I've graduated
To get the
over 350 students, bro. I have done this lesson on washing 350 times. What
yeah.
what the students are now bringing to class is not the same product.
Mm.
It's
The new the fanatic washes.
they are amazing and they're good, but they sacrificed something that made them perfect, which was how their body, like how heavy bodied they were.
Interesting.
Now they are a little thinner. I'm not saying they're thin. They're not like super thin, but like you want the wash to be heavier bodied so you can be the one who thins it, not the other way around. So
Yeah, you can't go back. Yeah.
they're still the best, no doubt. No, not even a question. It's just they made a change that is a little frustrating to me, but still the best product in the market.
I don't know if I have extra of those washes. I hope I do.
I mean, still good. Low stain, flows well, good surface tension. They combined a few colors too. Now they have dark blue tone. So like that's pretty nice. It's a good set of washes. I recommend it to anyone. Get the whole set. Don't cherry pick. There's always a situation where you want them all.
Hmm. Well,
But hey, Sanguinary Guard. Fucking suck. Bro, they slap so hard. I love them. Can't wait to see someone paint a bunch.
maybe it could be you.
I mean, someone has to pay me.
Well, sure.
I don't paint GW models for free anymore. Unless I like mine for my army. It's like sponsorships over the years. I'm like, why am I chasing a GW release? Motherfuckers don't even like me. You know what I mean? Like, I love their game. And somebody at GW likes me for sure, but like,
Yeah,
but you know, it's like, nah. Like, if so, like, I do sponsor. What I did was I recently changed my sponsorship criteria to like, instead of like shopping companies for models to paint, I've been shopping people. Like, hey, if you ever wanted me to paint one of your models, I don't do commissions anymore. So it's a different. And so that's I painted crack, and some people are influencers who are taking me up on it.
oh, really?
Yeah. So like, it's been
Would you
a
pay for a high ground hobbies or high
yeah,
ground?
high ground hobbies. They're a fledgling YouTube channel doing battle reports. They've had
Okay.
a crack nose for like a year. They're like, man, we're never gonna paint this thing.
Hmm.
So they sponsored content with me, and I painted it for
Nice.
them.
Yeah, that makes it a bit easier.
Yeah. So if somebody gets the Sanguinary Guard and enters my sponsorship program and pays me my fee, you'll see a tutorial on them. Otherwise, it's currently a squig riding orc lord. The one with the name character. I always forget his name.
Oh, he actually slaps.
Yeah, he's my next one, and then after I have an avatar to paint.
Oh man, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, dude, I haven't painted one of those in a long time.
But the new one, man. Woo.
Like I've got two other models that just slip in my mind right now. So I've got currently 4 or 5 in my pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's cool. That's a cool way to go about it.
we're just taking a break though, and I'm indulging myself in my possessed marines for my edgelords.
Well, you gotta get a army together.
Yeah, man. October. I switched it up too, so right now I'm doing some warp talons. And so like Wyatt was like, "How close are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm almost done with these 5 possessed right now, so just 10 more warp talons." He's
Huh.
like, "That's not bad." I was like, "Yeah, but it's the worst. It's the 10 worst models in the world, right?"
With the trim, man.
There's almost no way to shortcut them either. It's I mean, I'm gonna try to figure out a way, but whenever you try to shortcut a warp talent, it just looks worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like fuck.
Got him.
Got him.
Damn.
All right.
I'm
Well,
sure. I'm sure it'll look good.
no, I mean, no slap for sure,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Uh, they're janky and old and goofy.
They are so old now. It's sad.
Yeah, but get legends.
Eventually, everything gets legends these days.
Well, we smashed together some hobby MA into our Blood Angels hate segment.
Yes. That was good. Liked it. I
Well,
liked it.
well, Rob, you want to take us out of here?
I guess since I'm the only one here. So that's it for this one, y'all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to head on over to thelongword.net and become a veteran of the Long Word today.